3 lighthouse keepers disappeared without leaving a single trace. More than a century later, the mystery of the Flannan Isles remains completely unsolved. The year was 1900, and the isolated Flannan Isles Lighthouse stood alone in one of the most unforgiving seas on Earth. 3 experienced lighthouse keepers lived here, maintaining the powerful beacon that protected ships from deadly waters every night. Life on the island was lonely, but everything appeared perfectly normal during their final recorded days. Then, without warning, every light inside the lighthouse fell silent, and the men were never seen again. Days passed, but no signal came from the lighthouse. Nearby ships noticed something was terribly wrong. The relief vessel finally arrived, expecting a routine shift change instead of a historic mystery. As the crew stepped ashore, an unsettling silence greeted them. No one came to welcome the visitors. The main entrance was closed, but there were no signs of panic or forced entry anywhere. Inside, the rooms looked strangely ordinary, as though the keepers had vanished in the middle of everyday life. Half-eaten food remained on the table, suggesting someone had left without finishing the meal. One chair appeared pushed back in haste, raising even more questions about the keeper's final moments. The lighthouse clock had stopped, freezing time inside the empty building. Oil lamps were filled, beds were neatly made, yet not a single keeper could be found anywhere. Then investigators uncovered the final logbook entries, revealing details that made the mystery even stranger. The final entries described unusually severe weather, even though nearby reports painted a very different picture. One keeper reportedly wrote that the winds were unlike anything he had ever witnessed before. Another entry suggested that even the most experienced keeper appeared unusually anxious and unsettled. The final recorded note simply stated that the storm had finally ended. After that, there was only silence. No further messages were ever written, and the lighthouse keepers disappeared forever. Investigators searched every corner of the island but found no trace of the missing men. No bodies, no footprints leading away, and no signs of a struggle were ever discovered. The only unusual clues were damaged equipment found near the island's western landing area. Some officials believed the keepers had rushed outside during dangerous weather to secure the equipment. If that theory is correct, a single massive wave may have swept them into the unforgiving sea. But many researchers questioned that explanation because several details simply did not fit the official theory. Why would all 3 experienced keepers leave the lighthouse unattended during such dangerous conditions? Lighthouse regulations normally required at least 1 keeper to remain inside at all times. If every keeper had gone outside together, someone must have broken one of the most important safety rules. That unanswered question became one of the greatest puzzles in lighthouse history. Over time, stranger theories began to spread far beyond the official investigation. Some believed the men had encountered unknown visitors on the isolated island that night. Others suggested the isolation itself may have affected the keepers' judgment and decisions. Legends even claimed mysterious forces haunted the remote Flannan Isles for generations. Despite countless theories, no convincing evidence has ever explained what truly happened. Modern historians return to the evidence, hoping that fresh analysis might finally solve the century-old mystery. Weather records showed powerful seas, but nothing proved the conditions were impossible to survive. Some experts believe a rare series of massive waves may have struck the island without warning. Others argue the available evidence is simply too limited to support any single explanation with certainty. More than 100 years later, the truth remains hidden somewhere between fact, evidence, and speculation. Today, the lighthouse no longer guides ships, but its mystery continues to attract visitors from around the world. Every unanswered detail keeps the story alive, inspiring books, documentaries, and endless debate. Without new evidence, every theory remains only a possibility rather than a proven conclusion. The disappearance of the 3 lighthouse keepers remains one of Britain's greatest unsolved historical mysteries. What do you think happened on that lonely island? Share your theory and subscribe for more true unsolved mysteries.